Now, the strain in ties with China has prompted state legislators across the U.S. to debate and, in many cases, implement new restrictions on Chinese nationals and companies. These include new limits on land purchases and the use of social media.
But members of the Chinese community are crying foul, saying the bills are xenophobic and could inflame anti-Asian sentiment in the U.S. Toni Waterman has more from Texas.
When Hugh Lee came to the U.S. in the early 1990s to attend graduate school, he says he was struck by how welcoming most Americans were.
I think back then people from China are welcome.
But in the 30 years since, Lee says he's noticed a marked shift in attitudes, worsened by the pandemic, and now a slew of anti-China legislation. At least 34 states have blocked federal employees from using the Chinese social media app TikTok. Montana has banned it outright. At least 22 states have restrictions on land purchases, while Texas is considering banning Chinese nationals from attending public colleges.
I've been U.S. citizen since 2005, right? So none of these bills actually directly impact me or my family. But the problem is that these bills would then send out a signal, send out a message to people around the country that, these people could be potentially spies, could be potentially, doing bad things to the U.S., and so they should be discriminated against.
In a rare display of unity, both Republicans and Democrats say the laws are necessary to protect national security, pointing to the downing of a suspected Chinese spy balloon earlier this year and cases of Chinese nationals buying up large swaths of land near military bases.
Today, we're really recognizing the threat.
Last month, Florida became the latest state to ban Chinese nationals from purchasing farmland and property near military installations and other critical infrastructure like airports and power plants.
When you see what they're doing in the Western Hemisphere to expand their influence, we really need to have a unified effort in this country to deter the CCP's ambitions and their influence.
Many of the bills also put restrictions on North Korean, Russian, and Iranian citizens. But singling out specific nationalities has raised questions about whether such laws are even constitutional.
It is not, right? Let's just start with there.
Leo Yu is a law professor at Southern Methodist University. He says some of the proposals could violate the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which protects property rights and equal protection under the law.
I think national security concern is definitely a legitimate concern these days, and I'm not saying that it is not. But I think what happened now is that we really have broadened the definition of national security to a level that we don't really know what that means anymore.
Hugh Lee also thinks national security is a legitimate concern, but he worries that, as written, these laws will inflame anti-Asian hate.
Do you worry about your safety? Do you worry about the safety of your children?
Yes. Just imagine your family could be just targeted by a group of, extremists, and they have guns and they're easily accessible. And so that is a real concern to me.
A concern none of the bills directly address. Toni Waterman, CNA, Austin, Texas.